Namaskar. Hello, friends. I am sharing my insights into some selected verses of the Gita. We have completed 11th chapter so far. Today we will take up chapter 12 and chapter 13. Verses 5 to 11 of chapter 12. क्लेशोऽधिकतरस्तेषाम् अव्यक्तासक्तचेतसाम् अव्यक्ता हि गतिर्दुःखं देहवद्भिरवाप्यते ये तु सर्वाणि कर्माणि मयि सन्न्यस्य मत्पराः अनन्येनैव योगेन मां ध्यायन्त उपासते तेषामहं समुद्धर्ता मृत्युसंसारसागरात् भवामि न चिरात् पार्थ मय्यावेशितचेतसाम् मय्येव मन आधत्स्व मयि बुद्धिं निवेशय निवसिष्यसि मय्येव अत ऊर्ध्वं न संशयः अथ चित्तं समाधातुं न शक्नोषि मयि स्थिरम् अभ्यासयोगेन ततो मामिच्छाप्तुं धनञ्जय अभ्यासेऽप्यसमर्थोऽसि मत्कर्म परमो भव मदर्थमपि कर्माणि कुर्वन् सिद्धिमवाप्स्यसि अथैतदप्यशक्तोऽसि कर्तुं मद्योगमाश्रितः सर्वकर्मफलत्यागं ततः कुरु यतात्मवान्. Literal meaning: people living in the physical body and worshipping unmanifest Brahman have to undergo suffering on account of the worship, and they attain the unmanifest only after a great effort. Those who are engrossed in me, who offer all karmas unto me and focus their attention on me to worship me without duality, who have surrendered their mind in me. O Arjuna, I soon liberate such bhaktas from the ocean of samsara that is subject to birth and death. O Arjuna, you should keep your mind in me and establish your intellect in me. When you do this, there is no doubt that you will reside in me. If you cannot focus your mind constantly on me, then you should engage in doing that for whatever time you can every day. That is abhyas, or repetitive practice. If you don't have the capability of engaging in abhyas, then you should perform karmas for my sake. If you do that, you will attain moksha. Now, if you are incapable of even doing this, then you should control your mind, surrender to me without any duality, and discard all the fruits of your karmas. Practical insight: there are different methods by which liberation can be attained. Worshipping the unmanifest Brahman, though most potent, is rather difficult. However, worshipping a god with some form is easier. That is called saguna bhakti. It is worshipping God with some form, like an idol or a picture. Nirguna bhakti is worshipping an unmanifest God. The latter is regarded as superior, but is much more difficult because it is very difficult to focus on a formless God. On the contrary, it is that much easier to focus on an image of God. However, the worship must be with complete non-dual focus on the image of God, to the exclusion of our bodily identity. The mindset must be such that one is not conscious of anything other than God. When a seeker manages to perform such worship, he gets liberated from the worldly life in due course, when he completely stops thinking about it, all the time remaining engrossed in and merged with God. I may add that such a mindset is possible only when one attains total vairagya, that is disinterest in the physical world. That is liberation while still living in this world. However, if one cannot focus his mind all the time on the singular, he can try and take some time out every day for that. This kind of abhyas or repetitive practice will in the course of time lead to liberation. If one cannot manage even that kind of practice, then one should live a normal life but offer all his karmas to God. One of these knowledgeable persons who used to teach in a college was once asked, how can you remember God all the time? When you are teaching, for example, would you remember God? This person then replied that yes, it is not possible to remember God all the time, especially when you are engaged in some karma. Then what one should do is, before starting a particular karma, one should remember God and in advance surrender all the karma to Him. Then engage in karma, and after completing the karma, again one should remember God and surrender all the karma along with its fruit to God. That is the way. Finally, if none of the above is possible, then one should simply surrender the fruits of one's karmas to God. Verses 13 to 20 of chapter 12. अद्वेष्टा सर्वभूतानां मैत्रः करुण एव च निर्ममो निरहङ्कारः समदुःखसुखक्षमी सन्तुष्टः सततं योगी यतात्मा दृढनिश्चयः मय्यर्पितमनो बुद्धिर्यो मद्भक्तः स मे प्रियः यस्मान्नो द्विजते लोको लोकान्नो द्विजते च यः हर्षामर्षभयोद्वेगैर्मुक्तो यः स च मे प्रियः अनपेक्षः शुचिर्दक्ष उदासीनो गतव्यथः सर्वारम्भपरित्यागी यो मद्भक्तः स मे प्रियः यो न हृष्यति न द्वेष्टि न शोचति न काङ्क्षति शुभाशुभपरित्यागी भक्तिमान्यः स मे प्रियः समशत्रौ च मित्रे च तथा मानापमानयोः शीतोष्णसुखदुःखेषु समस्सङ्गविवर्जितः तुल्यनिन्दास्तुतिर्मौनी सन्तुष्टो येन केनचित् अनिकेतः स्थिरमतिर्भक्तिमान् मे प्रियो नरः ये तु धर्म्यामृतमिदं यथोक्तं पर्युपासते श्रद्धाना मत्परमा भक्तास्तेतीव मे प्रियाः. Literal meaning: one who does not hate anyone, who is friendly towards all beings, who is compassionate, without attachment, even-minded towards pains and pleasures, and is forgiving, one who is always contented, of steady mind, whose mind is under his control, who has a firm determination, and who has offered his mind and intellect to me. Such a bhakta is very dear to me. One who does not cause any trouble to others, and who is himself not troubled by others, and who is free of pleasure, anger, fear, and suffering arising from sense objects, is dear to me. My bhakta, who is free of desires, holy from inside and outside, alert, detached, fearless, and performs karma without any desire for the fruit thereof, is dear to me. One who does not get excited with happiness on getting something, nor does he feel bad when he does not get it. He does not grieve over loss of a thing and does not desire to get anything. He discards completely all good and bad karmas and engages in my bhakti. Such a person is dear to me. One who behaves in the same manner with a friend and an enemy, regards honor and insult equally, considers cold and hot as also pains and pleasures to be the same, and who has discarded all attachments. One who regards both his praise as well as castigation equally, who keeps silence, is happy with whatever he gets naturally, does not remain in any fixed place, whose intellect is steady, and who engages in my bhakti, is dear to me. But those of my bhaktas who place their faith in me and remain engrossed in me and enjoy the nectar of this dharma that I have described so far are very dear to me. Practical insight. This set of verses beautifully describes the qualities of a self-realized person that relate to his conduct in the world. The cornerstone of all these qualities is non-dual attitude regarding everything as same without preferences, likes or dislikes. With that internal attitude, the external conduct of such a seeker is totally even-minded without anything perturbing him or exciting him. He is all the time God conscious, though he may be living a normal life in the external world. Chapter 12 is complete here. We'll go over to chapter 13. Verses 7 to 10 of chapter 13. Amanitvam adambhitvam ahimsa kshantirarjavam acharyopasanam shaucham sthayyamatma vinigraha indriyartheshu vairagyam anahankara evacha janma mrityu jara vyadhi dukkha doshanudarshanam asaktiranabhikshvanga putradar gruhadishu nityancha samachittatvam ishtanishtopatishu मयि चानन्ययोगेन भक्तिरव्यभिचारिणी विविक्तदेशसेवित्वम् अरतिर्जनसंसदि. Literal meaning. These are qualities of a jnani, that is a self-realized person. Having no desire for honor, no pretenses, non-violence, peace, straightforwardness, worshipping Guru, cleanliness or purity inside as well as outside, steadiness and self-control, disinterest in sense pleasures, lack of ego, and regarding birth, death and bodily pains as faults, disinterest in everything, detachment from one's own children, wife, house, etc., and equanimity of mind in case of both desirable as well as undesirable situations. These are the qualities of a self-realized person. Faultless bhakti in me, without any duality, liking for living in seclusion and dislike for living among people. Practical insight. These two verses list the qualities of a self-realized person. These are, of course, very difficult to acquire for an ordinary person until he becomes self-realized. But a seeker should remain aware of the qualities of a self-realized person and should strive to inculcate them in a way he can try and do. Chapter 13 is over. I will stop here today. We will continue next time with chapter 14. Until then, bye. Take care.